Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite concepts of all time, a sex scandal within the Catholic Church. But fortunately, this one is more of a funny story because it doesn't involve around pedophilia. It's more an Italian priest is now being investigated for allegedly organizing orgies in his rectory, which is a funny word because it sounds like
in a rectory.
Because it sounds like something related to
Sounds
anal
like rectum.
stimulation. Yes. And pimping out not one, not two, not 10, but 15 lovers. Oh my God. What a stud. What a savage. Okay, let's talk about it a little bit more. So Catholic Father Andrea Contin is a parish priest in a northern city of Padua in Veneto. He's under police investigation because they were suspicious that he was living off of immoral earnings and psychological violence. Now, it's not as funny as I make it seem to be. I shouldn't be making fun of it. But, I mean, it seemed to me when I was reading the stories that some of these women were willingly having sex with him, which... I mean, it's the hypocrisy. It's the hypocrisy. Mm-hmm. One 49-year-old church volunteer who says she had an affair with Father Contin and had sex with him in the rectory told Il Mattino di Padova there were a lot of women hovering around him. I didn't understand that at first, only later. Grace, thoughts?
All right, a couple things.
Your father is a priest.
Yes, but he's an Episcopal priest, but whatever. That's not important to this story at all. Let's not equate my dad with an Italian sex scandal.
No. Your dad is not an Italian because, I mean, we all know this is more not about priests, but more about Italians in general.
No, I mean, just look. Well, no, Italy has a very complicated relationship with the Catholic Church in that, with the Vatican and the Italian legal system. It is very complicated, and it's very intertwined. You may recall that actually Italy was the last country in the EU to legalize civil unions, largely because of civil unions between same-sex couples, largely because of sort of what the Catholic Church teaches. Very anti-LGBT
the Pope was like, let's not do
that. It's thought of to be very perverse in some places. So progress, social progress, has been rather slow in comparison to other European Union countries. But what I was going to say, what's interesting to me about the story is that the allegations actually came out this summer, but you're noticing that we're talking about this in January of 2017. Oh my gosh, why? That's because the Catholic Church wanted to conduct an internal investigation before, letting it out to the actual Italian authorities, which is, I think that's the larger discussion here. We're talking about the Catholic Church operating as its own entity, and the Vatican police can put people under investigation without any reason.
It's its own autonomous state, essentially.
Yes, in 2015, 2 Italian journalists were placed under investigation by the Vatican for exposing financial mismanagement, and they can just
which is what I will be talking about right now. So now there's multiple different leaks that have come out of the Vatican. One of them was called. I guess, Vatican Gate or something? Or no, Vatileaks, where investigative reporters found that the Vatican was directly connected. Now, they own properties all around the world. The Catholic Church does. It's a great money-making business if you think about it from less of an organized religion standpoint, but more like a business, right? They're tax exempt. They get to hire people basically for free and make them do work for free, hire more people.
Major influence over political elections, for sure.
Absolutely, and even in America, they have major influence over political elections because churches in the South especially, and even in most places in America, are communal gathering spots. So, like, politicians will usually go to churches, like Hillary Clinton will go and talk at a church.
Well, the Catholic Church isn't... not so much in the Bible Belt as like evangelical
Southern Baptist.
Right.
Yes, 100% correct. I'm just saying, like, it's a powerful way to motivate the masses. Now, so the Vatican owns a bunch of properties, some of which turned out to be brothels. Did you know this?
I didn't know that.
So that's what the Vatileaks scandal had exposed back in, I think it was in 2015. Maybe
I think we're talking about the same thing that I was referring to, where the 2 journalists were placed under investigation by the Vatican.
So yeah, what's really interesting though, 2 years ago it emerged that the Vatican had purchased a £23 million share of a Rome apartment, which housed the Europa Multi-Club, Europe's biggest gay sauna.
I mean, I would go to a gay sauna.
So here's the thing. I mean, look, you brought up a really, really great point about the Vatican personally investigating internally before these things come out. Like, we talk about police corruption. We talk about disproportionate use of force. And this is kind of a similar situation because when you have a group of people that are frequently committing abuse, or because in the case of the Catholic Church, like, let's be fucking honest for a second, pedophilia is pretty rampant. And that's why they have millions of dollars designated for fighting off legislation within the states, for example, so that people can't accuse their rapists years after it has happened. Like you hear about the Catholic Church actively trying to prevent legislation like that from happening. Same with the police force. When you have an investigative body that is saying, hold on, let's investigate this internally first and then we'll release it to the public, they're usually, more often than not, going to bury the lead. They're going to make sure that this scandal doesn't come out. And luckily for us in this instance, I think they probably were like, at least it's straight sex, so we'll let it slide.
Well, and also, it's not... Sexual promiscuity is not a crime, and it seems that a lot of the sex and the swinging that was happening in this particular scandal was consensual. So maybe a couple would go to Compton for marital advice, and then he would seduce them and sort of persuade them to go to one of these clubs or events that he would hold. One of them, apparently, the Inquisitor reports it was called in Advertisement 69. What a weird, that's like what it would be advertised as. Advertisement 69. I mean, just be a little bit more coy.
Advertisement the 69.
But what the investigation is looking into now is whether or not there was prostitution.
Abuse and
prostitution. Because prostitution is illegal, but just being a sort of a shitty priest and being sexually immoral, whatever you want to define that as, is not a crime. And actually, right now, he is in Croatia. Because he doesn't need, they're saying, the authorities, and this is the Italian police authorities, not just the Catholic Church, are saying he's free to come and go as he pleases because he hasn't committed a violent crime and he's still under investigation, so who knows what's
this is more,
happening.
It seems more like a punishment for, like an extra punishment for someone if it turns out that the alleged accusations the accusations aren't true as far as like psychological abuse. But for those of you who don't believe in religion or who can't understand this connection like myself, I also want to disclose that, like, if you're going to a priest, if you're going to a Catholic priest, you are assuming that this person is your vehicle to connecting with God. This person, there's this disproportionate power there. There's this hierarchy that this priest very obviously abused regardless, and that's why they're looking into psychological abuse allegations. Because you're not going, if I went to a priest, I don't have the same belief that a Catholic going to a priest would, and that person abused their power over these people, abused their influence over these people in a very inappropriate way.
Yeah, and I think this is just a case where you sort of peel back the curtain a little bit and see what's going on behind closed doors and how things are being mismanaged within, it seems, the Catholic Church, or at least within the specific community, the Catholic community within this town in Italy. So hopefully they can get things under control, and and hopefully this serves as a reminder to just because someone wears the cloth and is anointed, so to speak, we're all still human, and people can be flawed, and to go into things with a critical eye, this is coming from someone who is religious, who my father is an Episcopal priest, that there can be an abuse of power, even from people that you trust so much with your heart, with your soul, with your belief. So it is
with
important.
Your connection with God.
Yeah, it is absolutely important to just be wary and.
Did you say
be wary?
Like very wary, like V. Okay.
Very
well,
wary.
We want to hear from you guys. Should Italians just keep it in their pants? Is this an Italian problem or is this a Catholic Church problem? I came out of the gates with that one. You were not expecting me to go there. No, I'm referring to like Berlusconi and his bunga bunga parties.
I'm really interested to hear in the comment section below what people think about this story and what do you think about the history and the precedent and the context for all of it.
And if this is your first video ever and you've stumbled across Pop Trigger, don't forget to hit that like button and then you hit that subscribe button and you do it for us and you do it for the Catholic Church. You do it for God. I'm Hasan and Grace politician. We'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.